Hello and welcome to a brand new series on health on Famhealth Live. This week, we are beginning a new series which is one of the most important aspects of health, that is to do with food and nutrition. What our body needs, what it processes, vis a vis what we actually consume, and all other myths and facts regarding it. Joining us on this special series every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. is well-known and renowned functional medicine expert and co-founder of Mechanism Wellness, Mona Jauhar, live from New York. Welcome to the show, Mona, and thank you so much for taking out time for us today.
Very nice to be here as always. Love being in front of the Indian audience and whatever I can do to help out.
So, Mona, before I begin, I'm going to talk a little bit more about how closely you've been associated with Famhealth, and we thank you for that. You have given us very interesting tips on holistic development, if I may say so. But before that, I'd really want to understand what exactly is the role of a functional medicine expert?
Well, so how we're different from a conventional medical practitioner is that we're trained to go to the root cause of your problem. So not just put a band-aid approach that if you, for example, do have bloating, which is the topic of tonight, we want to understand what's the mechanism behind it, understand where is the problem coming from, rather than just give you an antacid and send you back home. That is not what our approach is. Our approach is in understanding what is the mechanism of whatever the problem is, whether it's bloating or acid reflux or constipation or whatever it is, and try and eliminate it from the root.
Excellent. And we also congratulate you very shortly. You are going to launch your new platform, Mechanism Wellness. Wish you all the very best for that.
Thank you
Uh,
very much.
okay, like you already mentioned to our viewers, the topic of discussion today is to do with the stomach, and bloating specifically is what we're discussing. If any one of you have questions, if you have any doubts relating to bloating or any other issues related to the stomach, you can write in your question on Facebook, or you can send us an email at support@famhealth.in, or you can go to our community page, that's famhealth.in/community, and leave your question there. We'll sure get it answered. Getting into this straight away, Mona, first of all, what exactly is bloating? If you can explain to the audience, होता क्या है ये और किस टाइप की फीलिंग आती है?
So bloating is like when you have any kind of a discomfort, like your stomach protruding out, or pain, some kind of a pain in your abdomen after you eat something. I think what I'll do is I'll start from the process of digestion, where and how digestion starts, and we can then break it down part by part. How, as a functional medicine practitioner, I would try and dissect every small little thing that is involved in the process of digestion. So just the talk of food, when you start thinking, for example, you think, oh, cake or pastries or something sweet, for example, what happens? So your brain is recognizing, but you start salivating. So there's increased production of saliva in your mouth. The moment you start thinking something sweet, a candy bar, what happens is that insulin starts already getting produced in your body. So things start happening the moment you even start thinking about food. Now, when you put that food in your mouth, the body is now primed, it is prepared, and now the saliva starts getting produced in the body, and the process of digestion starts in your mouth. So people think that it's only in your stomach. No, it starts in the mouth. So, for example, when you start eating something protein, for example, if it is a chicken or a fish or something, the body starts producing hydrochloric acid in anticipation that it's going to come to me, and I have to be primed to start digestion, the digestive process. There's so many different processes when you go through it. So the food, you chew it, the more you masticate it, the more saliva is produced. the more digestive enzymes are produced. Then there's the function of the brain and the enteric nervous system to start the peristalsis process. That is, it's getting into your throat. Now the throat has to start pushing it down into the stomach. So now if there is one, there could be a problem with the saliva. If there is no saliva, the process of digestion is not going to start. Then the peristalsis, which is a nervous system thing, if there is a problem between the brain and your enteric nervous system, then the peristalsis is not going to be efficient and the food will not go down properly. A lot of the times we see that a person will come to you and they'll say that, you know what, I have problems with, say I can't digest certain foods and I have constipation, and I can't swallow pills. Or they'll come to you and say, can you just give me powders and or liquid supplements or medicines, because I just have a problem with swallowing. And then you ask further questions and they'll say, oh yeah, I'm constipated too. Then you ask further questions. Oh, my stools, they kind of float and they don't sink in. So there's like the big red flags that it is like the brain and the gut, there's a disconnect. That's where we need to function. That's the vagal nerve that's involved in there. So we give you certain exercises to start initiating that peristalsis, that swallowing process, so that everything else goes down properly. It could be other things. So when the food goes down into your stomach now, the stomach already has some hydrochloric acid. That hydrochloric acid will create an acidic environment in the body. So people think that, okay, so we have some kind of an indigestion, we should take acid blockers, which are your antacids. It's called anti-acid. What that does is it'll just give you the temporary reprieve, but it will also stop the digestive process. So now HCl is important because one, it takes care of all the pathogens. It could be bacteria, it could be fungus, it could be other pathogens that are there, which you might ingest along with food. It's going to create a sterile environment so that the digestion process is good and it gives you protection against all these viruses as well. It also starts initiating the release of pancreatic enzymes. Now, what do pancreatic enzymes do? Pancreatic enzymes are the ones that will help in the digestion of starches. So anything that is high starch, it could be foods like high carbohydrate foods, rice, potatoes, stuff like that, pasta, those the very carbohydrate rich foods. So those are the ones that are digested by pancreatic enzymes. So when, for example, if we have a person that comes in and says that, you know what, I have a problem. Every time I eat rice, I bloat. Every time I eat potatoes, I bloat. Now we know that it is the pancreatic enzymes and nothing else that I need to focus on. If somebody comes to me and says, I have a problem with, you know, every time I eat chicken, every time I eat something that's very protein centric, I feel discomfort or pain or bloating, then we know it's hydrochloric acid. Now, after the pancreatic enzymes, then the next thing that is triggered is your bile duct. So the bile is produced, and that kind of is what is important in digestion of the fats. If somebody says, oh, every time I have some olive oil or a salad dressing or something fried, I feel bloated. That's when I say, okay, so now it's the bile salts, it's the bile duct that I have to pay attention to. So like I'm saying, like there could be problems so many different places, and we need to try and understand where exactly it is so that we can try and fix it.
Okay, मुन्ना, आपने इतनी सारी चीजें इसमें बताई हैं और अब मेरे को रिलेटेड हर एक चीज से सवाल आते जा रहे हैं. सबसे पहले जैसे आपने बोला कि सिम्टोमैटिक काइंड ऑफ जब आके पेशेंट आपको बताता है कि उनको या swallowing में प्रॉब्लम हो रही है या स्टूल्स की प्रॉब्लम है या गैस की प्रॉब्लम है, basis that you decide where the issue is probably stemming from, and then you begin eliminating. So let's begin with the first things first. Like you said, let's break it down. So swallowing में अगर प्रॉब्लम है, और जब आपने आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया है कि ये कहाँ से अब आ रही है प्रॉब्लम, so what would be the first things that you will begin eliminating in terms of food from their diet?
You know what? Even before this, the swallowing is saliva production, which is very, very neglected. So a lot of the times people will have very low saliva. For example, कई लोग कहते हैं कि मेरे को बहुत सारा पानी पीना पड़ता है खाना खाने के साथ में, or it usually they are the people who finish their food last. Though people whose mouths are always dry.
Right.
So those are people that will have bloating somehow because saliva ही नहीं बन रहा है उनके mouth के अंदर. So there could be many reasons why there's no saliva production. It could be that there's some disconnect with the brain that it's not happening. It could be that your saliva gland is not functioning properly. Certain autoimmune conditions could cause that condition. And we see a lot of the times when people are on antihypertensive medications, that causes a dry mouth, that causes low saliva production. So sabse pehle we have to eliminate all those causes of low saliva production. So ek baar saliva product, and if somebody still doesn't have enough saliva, then we should give them like some kind of an amylase that they can chew, that will increase the saliva production so that the digestive process can start. Okay.
Before you move on, I'm getting a lot of questions, and so I'm just going to quickly address a few of them. Shashi Talwar is saying, "Hello, Mona, watching your program." We have some community questions that are saying, "Can bloating be because of constipation? And how does one get to know where and what the problem actually is?"
Okay. So let's deal with that part. So somebody comes in and says that they can't swallow. To your point, I ask them the question. Further investigation is like, okay, so you can't swallow very well. You'd rather have liquids or some kind of a powder form of medication. I get that. Then I ask them like, are you constipated? If the answer is yes, I ask them, are their stools floating rather than sinking? If the answer is still yes, we know that then it is a vagal nerve problem, something associated with the vagal nerve. Now, vagal nerve is what connects your brain to your gut, and that is what initiates or starts the process of digestion. Agar wo problem hai, and most of the times it is like when it comes to constipation and the swallowing problem, it is that what we do is we give them exercises. So इसमें nutrition का इतना काम नहीं है जितना कि exercises का है. क्यों? क्योंकि we have to fire up that vagal nerve. We need to make sure that vagal nerve is fired up, and that's when the process of digestion will start. Because अगर आपकी जो सारी nerve endings है वही नहीं काम कर रही तो फिर आगे कैसे काम चलेगा? The stuff will not move in your intestines. We need to make it move. So we need to fire up that vagal nerve. How do we do it? There's very few things that can do. Number one, singing loudly, like
okay,
of your voice. Okay. Then gagging yourself. Just say when you go to the doctor's office, they have that little stick and they tell you to like literally do ah. So you have to like go and try and it's almost like making yourself almost throw up but not throw up. So you need to get that response out of your body. Now all of these are very uncomfortable. I'm not a singer, so my favorite one that I tell all my patients to do is gargle. Gargle like everybody knows how to gargle. So you gargle until your eyes tear up. So not just gargle like the regular kind, but until your eyes tear up. So utna karna hai. and try to do it
How
either
do you
3.
gargle till your eyes tear up? Sorry, so it means you need to push back the water all the way, but not so that it goes inside. Is that?
That's how you gargle, right? So you hold the water at the back of your throat, and you make that noise. But
And then tears come out.
keep persisting on it, you will start tearing up.
Wow. Okay.
We've never done it. We've never gone to the extent that our eyes will start tearing. But trust me, when you persist on it, you will.
Okay,
So
that's very interesting. Yeah.
yeah. Hang on just 1 minute. Jesus. Okay, so that is my best option. I would do it like at least about 3 times a week, and that has proven to be very, very effective in in firing up that vagal nerve. There's other things that people do, which is like a coffee enema. If you're up to it, go ahead, do it. But I would go to like a professional if you do not know how to. And yeah, so that would be like when it is a problem with swallowing and constipation, that kind of a combination.
Okay. What happens when you have maybe extreme acidity and belching? And along with that, there's constantly bloating. Is there, is that again a sign of a certain organ that is not functioning properly? I'm sure it is, but which one then?
Okay, so then again, I would then go back to the first thing. What is causing that? Is it like, when is that belching happening? So is it a carb intensive meal that you had, or is it a protein, or is it a fat intensive meal? What is it? If I don't know, then I literally cannot slice it down.
Okay. To alleviate the symptoms before, because obviously the process of eliminating, etc., will take a little while to to make sure that the symptoms go down. What kind of foods, or not having foods, exactly like you mentioned that give them little tips, like in when the vagal nerve is blocked, you will
Right.
give them singing, etc., as things to do so that it hastens the process. So, what in terms of food items do we um, segregate or remove from their diet that can give them instant relief? Because every time we hear and we've heard our parents talk about it, anything that has carbohydrates, remove first out of your system, and immediately that should be like a miracle that will happen and your stomach will stop. But it doesn't always happen. Similarly, dairy is meant to be one of the bigger causes of bloating for many people that I know of. So if you can put some light on these.
Okay, so um, I'm sorry to be like a broken record, but I will go back to what I said in the beginning. What food? It could be different for you, for me, for Asha, for Shakti, for whoever, because we're all different individuals, and the mechanism of digestion is unique to us, to our own bodies. So it could be that your parents had their pancreatic enzyme function kind of reduced. That's why they said, हाँ आप carbohydrate खाना बंद कर दो तो बिल्कुल ठीक हो जाएगा. But it could be protein that is causing the problem for you. So the best thing in that, or it could be fat for another person, who comes in. I don't know. So the best thing to do then is to keep a diary. And after every meal, just record exactly what you had in that meal, and record your symptoms. And I can bet you within a few days, if you have really chronic kind of a bloating issue, or some kind of a GI issue, you will be able to tell, okay, so this is what I ate, And this is what the reaction was. Just 2 columns. I'm not even asking you to make like multiple columns, just 2 columns, and just note down, keep a log of what you ate. And then what happened after that? Were you burping? Were you belching? Was there gas? Was there pain? What was it?
So
So
I come to a very fundamental question, Mona, and I actually in haven't come across anybody who may not have had a gastro kind of an issue at some point in their lives. According to what you just mentioned, that everybody has a different body and that body is being able to consume and digest some stuff, and whereas maybe not the others. So, is it important that at every stage of life we need to do some tests? What is the diagnostic method other than elimination that one can adopt to know that, okay, I have now suddenly developed like a aversion or whatever, this kind of a symptom to a certain kind of food?
right. So Vishali, it's as simple as कि आपने invasive test करवाना है कि नहीं. So there are tests wherein they'll put like, cameras and scopes inside your body and measure the amount of acid that is there in your stomach. Like, you want to go to that extent, or you just want to just have a simple log. एक paper, एक pencil चाहिए, and you just write down what is like really causing that distress and start eliminating foods one at a time. As we grow older, the enzyme production in our body decreases anyways. So that is why कि जब आप younger होते हैं तो you can like literally digest and eat whatever you want to. But as you keep growing older, the enzyme production naturally comes down. So obviously, more food, you're going to react to more foods now than you would when you were in your 20s. So that is the difference. So your body keeps changing. It's not like you were born with, okay, so I cannot tolerate rice anymore at the age of 50, but I could eat like a ton of rice when I was 20. So, you know what? Your body's production of that enzyme has slowed down. That is the cause. But at any given time, how your body is reacting, which enzyme is now slowed down, is your brain function as good as it was when you were 20? So where is it again? Where do I have to focus on? Do I have to gargle? Yeah, yes, gargling is awesome for everybody. Do it. It'll keep your vagus nerve like fully activated. Absolutely an awesome thing to do for everybody, and especially for people who have constipation. But अब क्या चीज के साथ मेरे को क्या reaction हो रहा है, it is different, it is unique to every single person.
So, two tips that I've definitely taken away from what you've discussed so far is that one should sing at the loudest voice, irrespective, and gargling karo till your eyes tear up. Mona, what is the effect of stress on your stomach and bloating in particular? How is it linked? And again, what would typical symptoms show if it does make a difference?
See, when you're stressed, what happens? That the body goes into that fight or flight kind of a position. Ki every single system will shut down because it doesn't know if there's a tiger in front of it and that you need to be prepared to run. So हमेशा ये होता है, like if you go back to where human beings evolved from, it was always like, am I running from a tiger? So if you are stressed, your body system will shut down. Digestion is like, I don't need to digest food, I need to run at this point in time. Digestion will stop. But so a little bit of stress, occasional stress is fine. But if that stress is a continuous stress, अगर आपको हर वक्त ही आप alert में खड़े रहेंगे, तो your other systems will stop working. And that's where your digestive juices are not going to get produced, your enzymes will not get produced. So obviously your digestion is going to slow down. It might shut down. So definitely managing your stress is huge aspect of your digestive process.
And functional medicine as a step would be taking including all of these aspects when you go to get yourself fixed, right?
100%. 100%.
Okay.
Yes.
Muna, we have another question on the community. Somebody wants to know rajma, arhar dal, chana dal. Are these all, do they cause bloating?
Okay. So usually people think dal hai to good source of protein. But you should remember that dal or rajma, chana dal, arhar dal, whatever it is 25% by weight protein, 75% carbohydrate.
Okay,
So,
I didn't know this either. Okay.
okay, yeah. So if you are reacting to rajma or chana dal or chana, it means that I would really start focusing on hydrochloric acid and pancreatic enzymes for you. So because uske andar protein thoda sa hai, but it is a bigger source of carbohydrate. So is it less of a hydrochloric acid production because of which the pancreatic enzymes are not getting produced? Or is it only the pancreatic enzymes? So that is where I would focus on.
Okay. Again, relates to this question. Are there commonly foods that do cause gastro problems and bloating? Again, like I was mentioning dairy earlier, and dairy again is a very controversial because there have been studies done at one point in time where it said it's a good source of calcium. Then there's always been studies saying that it could be causing a lot of discomfort in the gastric system. So, what is the status of dairy today? And are people really, allergic, lactose intolerant?
Okay, so let me put that in perspective. Human beings were not supposed to consume animal milk beyond the age of 2 years. If it was meant, we would have had some kind of a source of having that naturally. But as long as you're feeding off of your mom, that is until when a human being needs milk. So human beings are the only animals that are actually stealing another animal's milk and drinking it. So human race is a large portion of it is actually lactose intolerant to some extent. Then again, how we have evolved as human species, some have evolved to tolerate it better and some not as well. So kai log hai ki wo log, they can have like as much milk as they want to. Some will react to about half a glass of milk, some will react to about a quarter glass of milk, some cannot even have a drop of milk. So it varies amongst human beings. But so that's why I say I don't know. But to put it in perspective, majority of the human race is lactose intolerant to some degree. That degree could be variable from one person to the other.
So, if you need to eliminate, and in fact, this was a question that somebody in another support group was asking, saying that if you're actually going by that thought that milk belongs to another animal and you're not supposed to consume it, growing child needs all the benefits that otherwise normally milk does provide. So how and what are the different foods that you can give to a small child like a toddler so that you can supplement the same calcium, proteins, etc., that you are deriving from dairy?
You know what? I say eat the rainbow. The more variety of foods that you incorporate, the better it is. So it is not just calcium that is needed for bones. We're like, why are we stuck on just bones? Why aren't we paying attention to all the fats that we need to develop the brains of a growing child? Why aren't we focusing on the phytochemicals that are required for the growing child? So everything, what food you're putting in is actually coded messages for your body to start some kind of a reaction or the other. so that the body can develop properly. If you just focus on one food, that is not enough. The biggest thing that you have to do when it comes to kids and growing children is that you need to put them into a habit of staying away from processed food. All the processed food and all the harm that processed food does to your body, that is worse than anything else. And if you just include a whole variety, don't stick to just rajma chawal or milk or I don't know, aloo paratha or stuff like that. So just make sure that there's lots of fruits and vegetables and of different kinds and of different colors. And when I say different colors, every single color comes with its own set of benefits, which do certain things in your body that brings out, like, that you grow in like a holistic way, not just one-sided way.
Well, now you've upset a whole lot of mothers and eliminated the rajma chawals and the aloo ka parathas, which
I haven't eliminated rajma chawal. I'm saying just
don't stick to it.
don't fixate on just certain foods. Include everything. Like if it is
Let that
rajma
be a part
chawal,
of the diet, but add something new every day. Also, I think it's very good because children will feel more excited to look out for something different every day instead of eating the same kind of food.
no, I love rajma chawal. I love rajma. So we eat rajma chawal, we eat everything, but it is like I also eat a lot of other stuff. And most of the times you see with kids, they get fixated on, I'll just eat Maggie for 1 week. You know, stuff like that. So try to incorporate like all different kinds of whatever you eat, make your child eat as well, as long as it's not processed food, as long as it's home cooked, good fruits and vegetable intense meal. That's
Okay.
what I'm.
Coming back to the issue of bloating, young girls who are just hitting their periods about to start and they begin, bloating is a huge issue for them. And of course, it continues well into their older age. So, what can be done at that point to ease it up for them and make it comfortable? Because obviously, it's also associated with a lot of stomach pain, etc., which is, I guess, some part a natural process and your body's mechanism of fighting it. But how can they ease it up for themselves?
Okay, so with young girls and stuff that is associated with periods, it is a lot of hormonal issues along with what they're eating. And I've seen in my practice and you know, heard it from my community so much that girls, especially, they try and avoid fat because they're just like so conscious that I don't want to get fat and blah, 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 blah. So we're just going to try and avoid fat as much as possible. जब वो लोग उस तरह का diet करते हैं that is very, very deficient in fat, the gallbladder for a period of time, it'll stop functioning. So whenever they eat something which has a little bit of fat in it, they will get that distension and they will get that bloating. And we see that more often in women as compared to men. And it is, and you can actually, like, if you were to go and do a sonogram of the gallbladder, you'll see that there's sludge in the gallbladder, and it's real. Or agar wo sludge ko, if you don't take care of it, that sludge is what turns into gallstones later on. So women especially, they have to be very careful as to how much fat they're including in their bodies. And if they are having those kind of problems, of course, I want to say, like, a lot of it is hormones, because their hormones are changing at that time. But as far as the diet is concerned, I would just try and tell you know, girls who are having their periods, not to on a daily basis, not to refrain from having too much fat in their diet. Fat is good for you. Fat is 60% of your brain is fat. You want to make sure that your brain is working. So the brain gets lethargic again. what will happen? The brain gets lethargic, your enteric nervous system will start getting compromised. You will start getting constipated. Constipation will lead to other problems, like I want to say all problems. And there you go. So eat some good fat. I'm not saying just go do a keto diet by any means. What I'm saying is, like, include fat in your diet, all the good sources, the olive oils, the avocados, the avocado oils, the coconut oils, use them in your diet, at least to some degree, so that your system keeps working and it does not stagnate.
Okay. Mona, what about portion control? There is again a problem of when to zip and how much to eat. How far is portion, how a big portion and unlimited, even of a good and healthy item, okay or not okay for the body?
Yes, 100% you're right, Roshali, that a lot of people, they just do not stop, or they do not understand when to stop. So the rule of the thumb is, when you're like about 80% full, just stop eating. Be mindful of what you're putting in your body. Practices like not eating in front of a TV, just like, having dinner with your family at a dining table without electronic devices, is where, happy families, happy tummy starts.
Okay, good to know that. Yeah, everyone needs to be mindful. I think another thing that I read this morning, and a very dear friend Nitin shared, that when you're eating, you need to be mindful, and until your mind is not concentrated on what you're eating, you're either going to overeat, or you're going to eat the wrong kind of food, or I mean, eat too fast. Either one of these things, which are definitely negative for your system. So we have another question that's come on the community. That's somebody wants to know. So if you have bloating due to pancreatic enzymes, what is the solution?
So, because of, I mean, if you're ascertained that it is because of pancreatic enzymes, then we just need to make sure that you are on some kind of a supplement then. So amylase is predominantly what's used. If it is low saliva production, then also you would take like some kind of a chewable amylase to keep that saliva going. And again, if it is the pancreatic enzymes, it means that you're not digesting your carbohydrates properly. That is when the amylase comes in. So having like some good digestive enzyme is what's needed.
Okay, I have lots and lots of questions, Mona, but we are clearly running out of time. And like I have mentioned to our viewers earlier, that we will continue talking to Mona every Thursday on this platform with a new topic every week. And we will be talking about nutrition in some form or the other. If you have any questions, or you want to be associated or get in touch with Mona, please write to us at support@famhealth.in, or you can visit our community, that is famhealth.in/community. And we will get your questions answered. We will try and get you in touch with Mona or another functional medicine expert. Mona, before you go, I have one last question. We have been interviewing a lot of cardiologists and endocrinologists, and everything begins with food. All disease begins with food. Just to leave on a note of what people should look out for, some cardiologists have mentioned that the Mediterranean diet is the best form of diet, if you were to say holistically, in comparison to most other diets. Would you have a particular favorite too?
Well, Mediterranean diet is the most researched diet with the most positive outcomes. So definitely, what does Mediterranean diet focus on? Abundant fruits and vegetables and fruits, and in that order. And eating good quality fats, eating a variety of different foods. And what I would say is like that, when you combine diets from different cultures, that's when it comes to the best kind of a combination. Also, to your point, is like knowing when to stop. So eating mindfully is also a big part of, I would say, I would include with the Mediterranean diet.
Okay, great. So we have a winner all the way. Mediterranean diet it is, but everything needs to be in control. Portions have to be controlled, and again, be mindful of what you're eating. Mona, thank you so much. I just want to thank you once again on the platform. We will be meeting again next Thursday, same time, same place. If any of our viewers have questions related to their diet, about gaining a weight, or a disease-related question that is directly related to nutrition, Mona is there to answer your questions. Please come and ask us live on Facebook every Thursday at the same time, 7:30 p.m. India time. Thank you once again and have a nice day, Mona.
Thank you very much. Really, it's awesome to be on the platform and trying to help people. So great to be here. Thank you.